It's just giving me a hard time. Okay, looks like I'm connected on YouTube. All right, so you should be able to see me now. Okay, people, again, you just see some update from yesterday. I really appreciate that you stick with me, and I don't know what is going on. Please don't leave. Don't just to stay with me, please. Okay, just to stay with me. All right. So I welcome everyone who actually came back. Wonderful. People on YouTube also able to see me. Let me check the connection and the quality. Let me know if the quality is good or not. Okay, let me know if the quality is good or not. So hopefully everything is going to work out today. Okay, great. So let me start. Anyway, I saw some of the comments in a live chat, and you from all over, UK and from up north here. And by the way, when people saying what type of accent I have, I'm saying I have a true northern accent. Okay, because Russia is a true north. Okay, true northern accent. That's what I have. But oh man, I mean, we're talking about the weather. So we're getting like 90s right now in Florida, and that's cold for me, like in Tennessee and New York and some places like 30. So 30, oh come on. So for me, as a Floridian, it's just like a winter time. I mean, Floridian, right? So yeah. I know what it's called all about, all right? So, but anyway, welcome, 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 welcome. I really appreciate you back. Hello, 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 hello everyone. Hello Celsa, David, Brian, and Bahrami. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Majid or Mahid. I have no idea. But anyway, Mr. Bahrami. Okay, Roy, Paul, and not only one Paul, there's multiple Pauls. Stefan, Steven, from all over, you connected to me. I really do appreciate. Jose, welcome back. Ben, my friend from Michigan. So, by the way, Ben, so you said someday I'm gonna have Grabovetskiy brand, okay, one of the companies, and yes, I really wanted to, and you know that we communicated by email a few years ago, maybe about 2-3 years ago, about tool makers in United States, because if I want to make tools, I want to make quality tools, okay. If it's going to be my own line, it's supposed to be really good quality. And I was trying to find the manufacturer in United States, but United States prices, it's prices. It's not, you can't compare, the manufacturing right here, which is okay. So I'm after quality. Finally, I found one manufacturer in Europe who's going to provide me not just the small sets. I'm able to provide the whole line, all of the tools, which is going to be either German, Austrian, or Swiss-made steel. So which is a really, really good steel, about 58, 59, hardened. So we're talking about Rockwell RC16, about 59 or something like this, okay? So which is really, really good. So that is in process, in talking process, of course. It all depends, on a deal. So if it's going to be even good for me or not. I mean, again, if it's going to be good for me, all right? Because everybody wants to make money, and that's okay. That's absolutely, that's why we're in business. But really soon, hopefully, really soon, and in a few months, I'm going to have the whole line. So it's going to be my brand. And it's going to be we're talking about the quality wise, it's going to be same level as a file, same level as Ashley Isles, Henry Taylor, and so on. It's going to be high quality, top notch tools. It's what I'm after. So I'm not going to use any, we call it imported manufacturers. Okay, but anyway, so Eugene, good to see you. Wonderful. Bob, good to see you. Clear in a Clearwater, Clearwater, Florida, I guess. That is great. Денис, добрый день, очень приятно. Okay, wonderful people. Today's subject, it's about spoon gouges, and it's based on one of the questions from yesterday's stream. Okay, I really do appreciate if you ask me questions, if you comment, of course. And some of the comments I'll try to pull. I'm not going to be able to pull today from Facebook, I don't think. Maybe, but from YouTube I'll be able to pull. Okay, some of the questions. I'm talking about I'm able to read all of it, but not all of it I'm going to be able to pull on the screen. I'm trying to update. Yaroslav, добрый день. Okay, so really good people connecting. I really appreciate that. Okay. Now, spoon gouges. It's actually not the right name. I mean, woodcarvers, they call it spoon gouges, but normal name for it, it's not spoon gouge. Okay, normal way to say it, it's just a bent gouge. Okay, so it's a bent set gouges. And woodcarvers, they usually know only probably a couple of them. Short bend and long bend. Okay, so there's a couple of them what they know. All right, so but there's a lot more than short bend, long bend. Okay, so what I'm talking about, let me show that to you. So on my table I've got multiple gouges, and they all bent gouges, and all those 5, they are front bent. Yes, by the way, there's a back bent gouges also and the front bend gouges, and I'm talking only today about the front bend and how to sharpen the front bend gouge, because people actually also confused how you are supposed to sharpen it. Not professional woodcarvers. I mean, professional woodcarvers, they've done it and they made a lot of mistakes before they actually established the right way. I'll show you my way. I'm not saying my way is the best way, but it's the way I do. Okay, it's the way I do, and my way I call sharpening on steroids. Yes, I mean steroids. But anyway, so today, sharpening spoon gouges. Let me show you the difference. Okay, let me show you the difference. Today in Bulgaria, Baroque gouge. It is interesting name. It's what Stefan is saying. In Bulgaria they call it Baroque gouge, but in reality, I mean, you can carve not only Baroque, you can carve anything with the spoon gouges, and matter in fact, they were developed before Baroque. They were developed, in a different styles. I mean, you can use them on Rococo style and Baroque style and on any of the styles. But it's a good name. I like it because, it's kind of makes sense if Baroque has a lot of acanthus and stuff like this. Although Rococo style is also has some acanthus movements plus shells. Well, shells in Rococo is the main movement, plus we're talking about acanthus addition to the shells, which is actually, by the way, this is one of the Rococo style, because I do have a shells everywhere. It's a specific Rococo. It's not what you used to if you see later Rococo or Northern Rococo. This is a Venetian Rococo. Okay, so specific to Venice, Italy. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. By the way, check my calendar. Once in a while, Nightbot, I don't know what's the name, but looks like everybody else using it, Nightbot, to post some links and so on, and I tried that for a couple times, and I posted my Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and really actually appreciate if you can follow me. Okay, so let me introduce myself, by the way, for those of you who don't know who am I. So my name is Alexander Grabovetskiy, and I'm a wood carver born in Soviet Union. Okay, yes, there was a country like that, Soviet Union. All right, so anyway, so let's go to my bench and I'll tell you what's the difference. Okay, most of you wood carvers, even the professional wood carvers, using only two types. We're talking about short bend is this one guy. I mean, this is a short bend, and this one is a long bend, and you can see the difference. Okay, so it's bent at front. It's called the front bend. Okay, and this one is a short, and this one is called spoon gouge by the wood carvers because it looks like a spoon pretty much. You know, it just profile it like, you know, spooning. Okay, and this one is a long bend which starts. You know, the carving part starts really close to the handle. All right. So Paul is asking, does Romania have a style of carving? I know someone in Romania and he does a lot of religious carving in oak. Paul, yes, absolutely. Romania has its own developed style, beautiful style. Matter of fact, in Romania there's a lot of wood carvers, a lot. So especially if you go to a countryside, they have a big gates, like wooden gates. All right, and we're talking about those big gates. They all carved. Okay, so that's Romanian style. But anyway, a Romanian style of wood carving developed from Orthodox Church, which is connected to the Greek and Russian Orthodox Church. It's pretty much really similar style. Okay, really similar style. And Russian and Romanian and Bulgarian style wood carving, which is a religious style, taking roots from Byzantine, from long time ago, Byzantine Empire, Christian Byzantine Empire. Okay, so we're talking about the 10th century, about 1,000 years ago, developed style, which is one of the styles I really admire for the complexity of carving acanthus leaves. If I mentioned that probably before, this is a Venetian style, but see this movement right here? That is called head of acanthus. It's a movement just rotating like this, okay? And there's a really deep excavation on inside. And in my case, I've done that in a solid piece, and it's going to be paint grade. I'm going to apply just a chalk paint on it. But if you go to churches, in Orthodox churches in Bulgaria, Romania, Russia, Ukraine, you will see similar, which is taking roots in Byzantine. You know, pretty much Venetians, they adapted, you know, that style, but it is gold leafed on inside and also on outside. And one of the projects for school I am planning to do, I'm going to show you the idea how they did it, because if you carve from solid piece, you're not going to be able to gold leaf on inside. Okay, so they have a specific idea how they've done it. But yes, you're right. I mean, that type of excavation, what I've done with the spoon gouges. So that is actually the subject of today. So with the spoon gouge, you can excavate really deep, and you can see it's really deep. We're talking about the deep excavations everywhere, and that is why the spoon gouge is used. Even right here, right in the middle, you can see it's actually going all the way through, and that's solid piece. If you're part of my school, you know that is a solid piece. It's nothing glued on or anything. So it's a solid piece. But like I said, most of you, you know probably just two different types of spoon gouges. Ben is asking, when you make your gouge, what kind of steel you like? Okay, I'm not gonna get too technical, because I tried once to be too technical on one of my videos, and people watching from all over the world, and they did not understand. For example, I mentioned just hardness, like Rockwell, okay, RC60, RC62, and the people in the world, they didn't know what Rockwell means. So the steel I'm gonna use, it's exactly the same steel what File and Stubai uses. Okay, that is exactly the same steel. It's one of the best steels what the German and Austrian knife makers used for a long time. It's actually one of the kept secrets what kind of steel they have. I mean, of course, it's not a big secret. I mean, you can figure out right now anything. Just Google on YouTube and you can figure this out. But those ones, to be simple, without the technical stuff, the steel is going to be about the same as File and a Swiss made. Okay, so it's about the same steel. Quality is going to be exactly the same, maybe even better in some cases. Okay, I'll try to figure out if I'll be able to make this steel a little softer, like maybe RC58. You know, I like little softer side. It's better for me to reshape and you know, to I mean, I have no problem to go to buffer or whatever, take it on a felt. By the way, to answer your question last week, you're saying do I like felt, hard felt or soft felt or medium? I'm using medium. Okay, I'm using medium felt. So hope it answers the question, Ben. But anyway, let me go back to a spoon gouges. So that is a spoon gouge. Okay, this is a long bent gouge. Again, spoon gouge has a really pronounced spoon at the end. Okay, so that is a spoon gouge. But there is a lot more gouges which is a bent. Okay, there is such a thing as a medium bent gouge. Okay, this one is a medium bent gouge, and if you compare those two, short bent, long bent, and the medium right in the middle, so you'll see right away pretty much. So this one starts somewhere right in the middle part of long bend. I use that a lot. Okay, that is a short, medium, and a long bend. But I also gonna show you slightly bent gouge. Okay, this is a slightly bented gouge, and see the difference. Okay, so if I'm gonna compare a spoon and a slightly bented gouge, let me try to give you a bigger picture. All right, so if I'm gonna compare, you can see this one is just a slightly bent, and this is a really nice tool to have, you know. And also pay attention, there's a stem of the tool and it has a spooning effect backward. Okay, so you have a like a movement right here, a backward. But there is actually another type of gouges. It doesn't have that backward movement. That is also like a spoon gouge, but it's a different spoon gouge. It doesn't have that movement, so it actually just bends forward. Also really unique and beautiful tool. Let me pull. There's actually another. I think I'm gonna be able to pull it. I have multiple tools. I could show it to you. And there's an extreme spoon. Okay, that is an extreme. This is an extreme spoon made by Marples. This is an antique. See how extreme it bends, and that is actually a really good tool to get. All right. A long bend gouge here called swan's neck. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's just like you know, whatever, the goose. You know, it just bends like this. You know, the long bend. Great. I mean, I like it. But I want to concentrate today only. Well, you probably didn't see that. I mean, right here. Okay, so just the spoons like this. Okay, just like a neck of a goose or swan. Okay, but anyway, so Ben is saying or asking, what about Philippine carvers? My wife is from Philippines. They have one town dedicated for carving with primitive tools. Ben, what you saying, I tried to answer that, I believe couple streams ago. Development of wood carving in different parts of the world is little different, and in China is little different. The tools actually, even how they built the tools, for example, European tool, you inset the tool inside of the handle. Okay, so that is the European approach, and you have a long stem on inside. Okay, which is a sets in. Chinese tools, the handle goes inside pretty much of the tool. It has some socket, right on the tool part, and you just get the handle and get inside. It has a handle. If you go south, I mean, all the Indonesians, all Indonesian, I mean, I can't say countries, but there's a lot of different small countries sharing the same culture. They don't have in all, the handle. All they have is just a steel part. That's it. And they're using just a really primitive. I mean, it works. I mean, that's okay. I mean, absolutely. The way they do, they're just using not the mallet. Most of the time, they're using a hatchet, like a small hatchet, and they hit that just by the side. Okay, so just a metal part. It has a long stem, those tools, and the carving part. Really primitive. And they do an amazing job also. The only thing is, when I look at work from those countries done with those primitive tools without too many bent gouges, they, for some reason, I mean, you can Google yourself. I mean, they've done beautiful stuff, but they did not do to the level of Baroque or Rococo. Never developed that, okay? It's more on a rougher side, I would say. Okay, but not in China. Okay, in China they develop beautiful, beautiful carvings. Not everywhere. There's actually only one place in China. The whole city. It's not actually city. I mean, we call it city. I mean, in China, just a small village is like 2 million people, and they call it just a village. We call it a huge, big city. A lot bigger than Detroit for sure. But in that city, they developed their own technique, and they do an amazing, amazing job. But they sensing a lot. I mean, they just send a lot. Okay. Ivan or Ivan, good to see you. A little too late, but it's okay. You here, okay? But anyway, so let me get to the subject of today. So in today, like I said, I want to get this guy done. Well, actually, no, I'm not gonna do this one. Okay, I'm not gonna do this one. Okay, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take cheap tools. Okay, inexpensive tools. That's what I'm gonna take. Okay, again, coming back to Chinese made. Okay, Vyacheslav, спасибо вам большое. Okay, Chinese made tools. I mean, we're talking about the whole set, $95. The whole set is $95. Okay, shaft tools, but they have in a full size set, same almost like file, which you pay about 400 something, like about $1,000 for the same set, like 12 tools, short bend and long bend. And the question, there's a few questions actually. The main question, actually 3 questions, I should say. 3 questions about those tools. And the question about, today, only about the short bend. So the question number 1, do you really need to get this bevel really, really long, okay, like I'm doing on most of my tools, okay? And most of my tools, they have a long, really low bevel, okay? Do you really have to take it down like this, okay? So that is the question number 1. And to answer to you, I have to probably tell you the truth, okay? The truth, okay? Some of my tools, like a spoon gouges, I actually do take that bevel and make it long. So we're talking about this one. This one I have approximately 10 millimeters, I would say, long, about 3/8 of an inch, maybe even 11 millimeters, something like that. So that is a spoon gouge. But this is number 6, and I'm using a lot of times just to clean up, not excavate like a full escape. Okay, so this one, yes, I do. But most of the time, you really don't need that long bevel. You really don't. Okay, so you really don't. So That is the question number one. You really don't, because of the way you're working with that, it's actually you spooning out. So you are pretty much digging like that. You're spooning out. So you don't really have to take it extreme like on a straight tools. Question number two. Okay, what about if you look closer to this tool, see, this is a heel. Okay, that is the heel. So what do you do with that? Okay, if you're carving, you know, I mean, what happens when you're trying to carve with this tool, and if it has a heel like this, it's actually smooshing your carving. You know, when you're trying to when you dig in, it's okay, but when you're trying to escape, this heel is actually pushing down on the fibers, and you're getting that smooshing effect. Okay, you're getting that smooshing effect. All right, so, and that is not good. I mean, it looks okay at the beginning, so it does look okay at the beginning, but later on, like a day later or 2 days later, those fibers, they puffing back, and that cut is actually not really good. They actually, sometimes you can see even tore apart, so it's no bueno. So to answer that question, I'm actually always, even if I'm not taking that I'm not making long bevel, I'm always rounding it. Okay, at least I'm rounding it. Okay, so that is the question number two. And the question number three, it's about inside bevel. Do you need that inside bevel or not? Yes, I said many times. So on the tools, you really have to establish micro bevel, and let me tell you, logically, you really don't have to have that micro bevel on a tool like that. Reason why? First of all, the only reason why you need that micro bevel, if you got the outside bevel of it, let me show you that on the board, for you can see. If you do have that outside bevel really long, well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you different way. Here's gonna be the edge of the tool. Okay, so you've got the spoon gouge. And let's say if you have a long bevel, so we're talking about long bevel you just took out. All right, and like I said, it is good idea, even if you're doing a long bevel, it's a good idea to still round that. Okay, just get rid of that heel. All right, just get rid of this. So that would be the step number one. If you want to do a long bevel, but still would make it round, otherwise it's gonna smoosh or push down on the fibers, and that's not gonna give you a good effect. But what happens when you're doing a really long bevel, this edge becomes really weak. Okay, and yes, to make it stronger, you have to create the bevel on inside. So you have to actually get that effect on inside to make that tool stronger, but still having a really thin metal. So that is the only reason, and there's no other reasons actually. Pretty much why would you do that, unless if you're carving, you know, upside down. And sometimes, yes, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but yes, some of the bent tools you do carve upside down, and if you're carving upside down with that tool, you really need that inside bevel also. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to create beautiful cut and escape, okay, with that cut. So it's going to just continue digging on inside. All right, so you really need to create that bevel on inside. Okay, let me read some of the questions. Paul is asking, what kind of handles are you going to use? Okay, let me tell you my preference and what I think about the handles. You probably know by now what is my preference, but look right here. That is a octagonal handle, which is most of the wood carving tools right now do have. Okay, that is a traditional English handle. This is Ashley Isles Henry Taylor also does traditional handle like that. It's just a round handle, okay? And there's the old London pattern, also, English pattern, okay? Personally, I love those guys, especially this guy, okay? Especially this guy, because it actually sits in your hand really nicely and just, it just fits perfectly. That handle is wonderful. That handle is wonderful. Okay, that is why. And this handle is also really good for me, and this handle is really good. This handle is, okay, I would say, okay? It's okay, but most of the wood carvers, they prefer right now octagonal. This is a Swiss made, actually, handle, exactly the same with shaft tools. This is a shaft and that is a file, okay? So you can't even say, you can't even detect the difference sometimes between those two tools. But the reason why the handle like that on those tools, because people, when they lay on a workbench, it's not rolling out, okay? So it just stays right there. You place it and it stays right there. So no problem with rolling out. When you place, for example, round handle, so it can roll out from your bench. But I have to be honest. I really have to be honest with you. I absolutely never, okay, had a problem with rolling out of my workbench, unless if you have a workbench like that. I don't know why would you have that. Maybe you just been in a German school, army school, when they teach writing, on a floating table like that. Then yes, this handle is gonna roll out, okay? But I prefer this one versus octagonal because I'm carving all day long. I know. I start early in the morning and I carve until late night daily because it's my life, and I travel also for teaching, but I also have a live production and people waiting on me, and I have to carve a lot more daily. That way I'm going to be able to travel and teach in person, and I'm teaching multiple times, by the way, this year. Some of the schools actually canceled, but some of them postponed it. I believe Mark Adams postponed it, my classes. I did not hear back yet from Maine, so I'm going to be in Maine in May. And I don't think we postponed it, that one. Hopefully I'm still going to be able to make on time right there. Also in fall, I'm going to be multiple spots in Florida also. But I'm carving all day long, like I said. And when you get those ribs and holding all day long those tools by the ribs, sometimes it gets to you, okay? Yeah, it's not a big deal, but they getting sharp, you actually getting those ribs inside of your hand. But what kind of handle am I gonna do? I don't know yet, but because it is a commercial adventure, business adventure, I know a lot more people, wood carvers, prefer octagonal, okay? They prefer that type, European, German octagonal handle. And nowadays, actually, even Henry Taylor, even if it's based in UK, they actually switching from a traditional English to octagonal. Some of the tools they already make in octagonal. Hope it answers the question. Okay, wonderful people. I've got already 40 minutes in, so I have to show you the way I'm doing it. Okay, the way I'm actually carving. Not carving. Apologize. Not carving. Sharpening gouge. Okay, I'm gonna take today short bend by shaft, all right? And the way I do, it's actually pretty much the same on the same machines, okay? Of course, you can do by hand. It's okay by hand. You can do anything, but that is my preferred way, okay? I'm using work sharp, using a bar, and I showed you yesterday the alternative way, okay? So Brent is saying, good morning, I didn't get notification today. Brent, you have to subscribe and hit bell, but make sure you hit all notifications, because politics nowadays on YouTube and Google changed, okay? And they not getting, I mean, they don't send notifications all the time, okay? For some reason, they don't. Okay, now when you get brand new tool, I always try to commission it. Okay, I don't use that word, by the way, commissioning. All right, I know a lot of people in Europe, actually not, I shouldn't say that, not in Europe. A lot of people in UK, they say in commissioning tool, okay, which is getting the tool ready, which is okay. For those of you who's watching me in Great Britain, I call it Great Britain because it is great. I love Great Britain, and I'm gonna be there probably this year. So hopefully, I mean, if that, whatever the coronavirus is gonna be resolved and so on, I'll be there. But step number one, you have to reshape it. And the way I do, same way. But if you have a tool, and if you really want to get the long bevel, you're still using the same jig, okay? And those jigs listed below in the description, you can get them. But it's the same like what you do on other tools. You just get the jig, and I like particularly this jig, okay? Because it has a full motion rotation, okay? Full motion rotation. You place it, and all you do, just adjust the height of sorry, that sometimes don't know what I'm trying to say. Bar, and I'm eyeballing it, okay? So, well, this is maybe I need to raise it a little more, because I don't want to take forever. Again, make sure it's really tight and straight. In my case, it's not. So I'm talking about straight all the way, and I'm usually checking it, you know. All right, and again, by the way, yesterday, I believe yesterday or day before yesterday, I showed you a little light I'm using on the, that thing, okay? Let me, before I start, I'm gonna show to you that light, okay? So that is the light I'm using, okay? So that is a magnetic light. It has a magnet on the back side, and it's LED, and it's bright. I've got those lights pretty much on all of my machinery, I mean on all of my machines, because you can stick to anywhere, on a band saw, on a big one, on a small one. I've got that on a scroll saw, I've got that on all of my sharpening systems, you know, this light, and it costs like 10 bucks, 10 or $11, something like that. It's not expensive, and it lasts really long. Some of them lasted me like about 4 or 5 years. And I'll place the link to that light if you're interested in those lights, okay? But let me get back to sharpening, and let me do that. Ben is saying, do you have frostbitten fingers? Not anymore, okay? But yeah, I got frozen. All right. Okay. Do you see right now? Oh, I apologize. That is not good. That's my bad. Can you see now? Yes. All right. So you should be able to see now. Wonderful. Great. Can you see it or no? Oh no. Wrong camera again. Yes, I know. I got like 6 cameras and I just switched Gary. Thank you. All right. But anyway, you see that now or no? Let me know on YouTube and Facebook. Can you see the camera? It's okay. I'm gonna start. Okay. And oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, that is a grit 80. Okay. So it's a really aggressive. Paul, thank you for letting me know. Okay. David, thank you. Again, I have to repeat to you what I said before. If you want to be a little more aggressive, you have to be on outside of the wheel, okay? And I really like rotation outward, okay? When it rotates out. If you want to be less aggressive, you have to bring your tool in closer to the center, okay? But since I want to get really aggressive and quickly, so I just going to be on outside, okay? And I'm constantly checking where I'm at. And what's going to happen, let me show it to you, okay? What's going to happen, I really want to leave approximately about 1/64 of an inch. But see how quickly I'm taking out that bevel? So really quickly, and I'm creating about 10 millimeters bevel right now. So, and I'm about, I would say about 1/16 of an inch from the edge. All right, 16 of an inch from the edge. Okay, let me continue. Okay, what is the alternative bar or alternate bar for the work sharp? I'll show you in just a second, Troy, okay? And that's it. I left approximately 1/32 of an inch, but it's not the end yet because, like I said before, I really want to round it, okay? I don't want to see that pronounced heel, all right? So I don't really want to see that pronounced heel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to round it. And let me try to bring it closer to you, all right? Again, now it's going to be just a free hand. And let me go from this side. And here you go. That is approximately the process. You can probably see it's already rounds it. So I don't have a pronounced heel. It's not going to smoosh anymore. So the step number 2, I mean, see, it just takes 1 second. I mean, how long it's going to take for you to sharpen in the commission, I should say, commission by hand, okay? It's gonna take you a couple hours to take that heel out, okay? It's gonna take you long time, even if you're gonna use diamond stone. All right, now let me get grit 800. I'm actually jumping from 80 to 800 right away. And that is looking really good. And I'm gonna move slightly to that direction. And remember, I said if you're just moving on a bar because of the friction, you know, because of not the friction, I'm sorry, because of the pushing effect. So if you're gonna get closer to the stem, to the holding part, it's gonna be higher bevel. And I slightly gonna hit that way, okay? And I'm not gonna go all the way. I mean, I'll show it to you, okay? It took me like 50 seconds, less than it, okay? Let me show that to you. See, I left, I'm not sure if you're able to see that or not, but I left approximately 1/28 of an inch, 1/28 of an inch to the edge. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the edge because there's a reason. If I'm gonna go, I mean, it's okay, you can do that until it develops the burr on inside, but you will have that waviness, and I've done it multiple times, which is okay. I mean, some of my tools, they do have that waviness, but it's okay, absolutely okay. But next step, I'm gonna hone it, Okay, I'm gonna hone it. All right, and again, I'm gonna take it to machine. People, wonderful people, just to think about how much time I'm saving daily, okay, just because I'm using machine. I'm saving a lot of times. Let me get the honing wheel, which is 3600 grit, and that is just a sandpaper, by the way, sandpaper by Worksharp, and there's the links below. I believe I already listed some of those links. Okay. And you can take it to a 6000 if you wanted to, but even 36, it's already giving me a mirror. Okay, it's already giving me a mirror. Okay, if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, I really appreciate if you can comment. All right, I really do appreciate. That way I know I'm not doing anything in vain. So just doing something good. So now it's a 6000. You don't have to do 6000. It's just me. Okay, it's just me. I really like mirror polish. And that is absolutely beautiful effect. Let me show that to you. Okay, right here. See, it's just like a mirror. Okay. And I'm talking about just the part I polished right now. Can you see that? I mean, is that reflecting to you? I mean, you can use that in your shop. You know, just look at it and whatever. Especially nowadays, you can't go to a barber shop, you know, and get a haircut. But anyway, so that is how quickly it is. But the next step would be. I would probably take it on a buffing wheel, okay, because I really need to buff. I need to buff, you know, that rounded effect. And the way I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the leather wheel first, and I'm gonna put the felt. That's the way I like, okay. And now I'm not placing it on a bar because it makes sense. You know, it's much higher. It would be a stupid idea. And I'm pretty much just, oops, I'm pretty much just polishing. I have to take it out from a jig. I'm pretty much just buffing it. Again, I'm just following the curvature sweep of a tool, and I mean this step is not required in all. Okay, so we actually working just on outside bevel, and again, this is a not expensive tool, which is I highly recommend if you don't want to spend too much money. For the whole set, we're talking about $95 for the whole set. All right, let me show that to you. See? It doesn't have any more that pronounced heel. It's actually polished like a mirror, although I would spend a little more time and just round it even more, but I can do that on a buffer, or I can do it on a stropper. Okay, so that is what I'm doing actually on the outside. Now what I'm gonna do on inside. So I've got about 5 minutes to go. I don't want to do too long, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to you know, just post that somewhere else. Okay, but anyway, so I do have a limit, like 1 hour on Instagram. On inside bevel, so what I'm using one of those guys. Okay, so it's doesn't matter which ones you use. You can use a slipstones, water slipstones. Okay, there's a really good brand water slipstones like this. But you have to use the water on them. Okay, I don't use them a lot. So those are multi-form. But first of all, I don't need the actually soft arcus, so I can do just a ceramic, okay, just a ceramic one. And how you do inside? The same way. Yes, I really like to do like this, but in the case of ceramic, it's so fine, so I really don't have to worry about it, okay? I'm holding that on my hands. I'm holding it on my hands right on the finger. All right, and trying to establish that micro bevel on inside until it establishes the burr or wire edge. It depends where you're at. Okay, wire edge or burr. And that's it. I've got burr, and here you go. I mean, you should be able to detect. I've got about a 64th of an inch bevel. Okay. All right. So let me see if Bob is saying Woodcraft representative mentioned. Hold on. Sensing discs are made with ceramic oxide, which allows you to last longer. Okay, let me tell you the truth. Okay, let me tell you the truth. Okay, those guys. Okay, those guys. Okay, I'm talking about those wheels. All right, those wheels. Sandpaper is really cheap by even Worksharp. Okay, I was surprised. Some of that. I'm actually taking the same discs with the sandpaper to schools for about 5 years, and some of the paper I did not change in all for over 5 years. Okay, and not only me using it daily, but people at school. Okay, like we're talking about multiple people in one class during a week when I'm teaching, and everybody's using my discs, and I still did not change it. I mean, I honestly saying to you, it is absolutely truth. Okay, truth, and truth. Okay, so it lasts a really long time. But anyway, I've got a wire edge right now, and I'm gonna take it just on a buffer. Okay, I'm gonna take it on a buffer, and or stropper again. In this case, it's gonna be again felt, and I'll just take care of that wire edge. There's a few different ways actually to take care of the wire edge. Some people like to break it. Let's say you take a piece of wood. And you just like running like this, okay? And it's breaking that wire edge. Personally, I like to buff it. I think it's either. I mean, you can buff it on Tormac, exactly the same idea. You can buff it on a cheaper solution. It's the same idea like I have right here. So it's just a simple grinder. And I'm gonna hit little bit on inside also. All right. Like I said, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're using for buffing. I really prefer Worksharp. I know in Europe it's really hard to find it, but you know. Wonderful. Okay, let me try it. And I'm gonna take it to my piece I'm working on my production piece, and let me see what I want to try. Maybe somewhere right here. And that's really sharp. Okay, it's not convenient spot for me, but it's really sharp right here. Okay, so but anyway, we're talking about inexpensive. It's a convenient spot, so I can do whatever. Tools. We're talking about really inexpensive tools. Okay, wonderful people. Thank you very much. I have to end today's stream. Like I said, before, because I want to be on a multiple platforms. Please don't forget to subscribe. All right, hit that notification bell and make sure you're just getting all the notifications. That way you're going to be notified. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, if you want to follow me on Facebook, just Woodcarver Grabovetskiy, and you'll find me. Just or if you want to tag me, take a snapshot of today's video, post on your Instagram and Facebook, and just tag me. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, people. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.